It's time to talk about the best cornerback that no one is talking about. For whatever reason, Florida State cornerback Renardo Green has just slid under the radar. Not many people have been talking about him through the draft process, and I want to highlight some of his attributes of why he could be one of the bigger steals in this class and could even be a fit for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this guy probably is the best press man cornerback in this class. Now, we do know that the 49ers run a lot of zone coverage schemes, and obviously, those are two differentiating schemes. However, something tells me that this guy would be able to play some zone as well. And especially what we've seen on tape, but what you can see from the sense of how he plays man coverage, it really would bring another element to this defense that could allow the 49ers to run more man and do some special things up front with their front seven. So let's figure out who this guy is. Let's do a little bit of the measurable stuff, and then we will pop into some of the tape where you will really be impressed by how this guy plays press man coverage and what he did to Malik Neighbors, who some consider to be the best wide receiver in this class. So let's hop in. So Renardo Green, 6 foot, 186 pounds, out of Florida State. Some have him listed as a safety. So some people believe that he could actually have safety versatility and be a safety at the next level, likely due to him not running a blazing 40 and things like that, and him just being a physical presence. But I do think he could find a home at cornerback in the NFL. He had one interception last year. He had 12 passes defended, 43 tackles, 32 in which were solo. When you look at some of the stuff that he was able to do over his career, he is a fifth-year senior, so he's been in the league for a while. He isn't a big like turnover guy. He only had one interception throughout his career, but he's a guy that just can really stick to these wide receivers in coverage. When you look at his testing, he ran a 4.49 40, which would have him in the 76th percentile of tested cornerbacks in this class. His broad jump was really good, had him in the 94th percentile. But overall, measurables he's pretty average in regards to size. Nothing crazy sticks out there. But this is a guy that I do think the San Francisco 49ers would be very interested in and at least maybe give a look to. And let's take a look at some of the tape and maybe why that is. What you're going to see in a lot of these reps is him playing press man coverage. And you can see just how well he mirrors, stays in phase, and is able to break on the ball and create pass deflections. You can see his recoverability and just how smooth he is as an athlete. Even if giving up the inside, he has the ability to undercut the route. This is against Malik Neighbors, just absolutely draped all over him. No shot to make that catch. This is one of my favorite traits of his, is that when wide receivers are breaking inside, he has an ability to kind of hook underneath, just like right in this rep right here. He just hooks right underneath and is able to stick his arm across and deflect the pass. And you can see in jump ball contested catch situations, he's feisty, man. He is going to just rip at the ball, punch at the ball. He's going to do everything he can to ensure that you aren't coming down with it. And again, there's another example of him undercutting the route to be able to create a pass deflection. Again, staying in phase with the wide receiver. Here's what he can do in the run game. And again, that's probably why a lot of people see his tackling ability and how physical he is and be like, oh, he's a safety. Here's him completely clamping Malik Neighbors and getting interception on Jaden Daniels. he's a pretty solid player, man. Like, I get it, he's a little bit older, doesn't test, very highly in a bunch of categories, but I do think this is a guy that, if the 49ers want to, shift a little bit more towards some man coverage schemes, be able to run a little bit more press man, would give you some flexibility to run more stunts and blitzes up front if you wanted to, more exotic looks. Because on the back end, you're running press across the board, or you're running man across the board because you got Ward, Diamador, and potentially Renardo. I think you find yourself in a pretty good spot there. He's ranked fourth as a safety, but I do think he deserves consideration as a cornerback as well. And he's a guy that I would love to see the 49ers take a shot on. I think, he definitely shows good instincts, the ability to fight for the ball at its highest point. And I think he's just a dog. Like, you talk about guys who have the requisite ability to just play football. Like, he's a football player, man. Like, that guy is a baller. I think he is going to be one of those guys that once, you get into camp and those types of things, he's only just going to elevate his game, and he is going to be potentially a long-term starter in this league. Now, obviously, where he goes is going to be a big part in that, and where he is ultimately taken is going to be very interesting. If you look at kind of all the rankings and kind of where he lies across all these draft sites, you can see that at the highest on NFL, he's ranked as the 46th best player. You have some other sites like Fox, PFF, DraftWire, The Athletic. They all kind of have him in the top 100. Only this one outlier site has him at the 110th best prospect. So I would say I would consider him more in this range, kind of between 60 and 80. Feels like he could be coming off the board in the NFL draft. So I like him, man. I really do. I think no one's talking about him. He did post, I saw, to his social media the other day. He said real ones are gonna find out, or I forget exactly what he said. But it was along the lines of being doubted, like, and just being patient and waiting for his turn. And I'm looking forward to seeing him get the opportunity and seeing what he does with it. What do you think about this guy? Again, he could probably be going you could maybe get him in the third round. That feels like a pretty good value if you wanted to get a player of that caliber in the third round. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.